Welcome to Dad's DeFi space. Now is the time we can cut through all that noise and get real to what's going on in the crypto and DeFi space. And I want to help you build conviction for the rest of this bull run. If you're new here, my name is Kevin, and I am a father, a teacher, and a DeFi investor and a trader who shares exactly what I'm doing with my own portfolio, all the wins, all the risk, all my mistakes and all the lessons I've learned along the way. And if you appreciate real and truthful content, including all these lessons I've learned along my journey, please hit like, subscribe, and ping that notification bell and share this content with anyone who would appreciate it. Now, today, I want to deep dive into the question that's on every investor's mind right now. Has Bitcoin already topped, or is the real blow off top still ahead? We're going to break down the macro structure, short term setups, and signals we're watching to know when this market may flip from bullish to bearish. Plus, I want to share some fresh alpha on some other tokens we've been looking at, two new competitors aiming to dethrone Hyperliquid. But remember, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research and never, ever invest more than you can afford to lose. Crypto and DeFi are so risky, you can lose all your money. So here's the real deal. I believe we're still in a bull market, but one key breakdown will flip this script instantly. So please stick with me. I'm going to show you what exactly to look for to determine, is it time to ladder out this market cycle, and help you to have the knowledge to make that decision on your own. So stick with me. But first, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Right now, you're looking at the Bitcoin chart. Okay. It's currently hovering around $111,000, which is great. It's showing a little bit of bounce from earlier today. And if you take a look on the daily, we are above the bull market support band. But whenever we're looking at the end of the market cycle, you want to pay attention to this metric on the weekly chart. So now taking a look at Bitcoin on the weekly chart, we can see that we have wicked down below the bull market support band. Not that that means anything yet, but the first thing I would like to pay attention to towards the end of the market cycle is, have we broken below the bull market support band? Now, we have broken below the bull market support band one, two, approximately three times during this market cycle. And the last time we broke below it here in last spring, you can see that we wicked below the 50-week moving average, but we reclaimed it during a bear market. And I can scroll back over to the last market cycle, and you can see that we topped in November 2021. We broke below the bull market support band on the weekly. We tried to get back above it in the spring, March of 2022. And we broke not just below the bull market support band, but broke below the 50-week moving average. When that happened, Bitcoin ended up bottoming out around $15,000. So historically, historically speaking, when Bitcoin loses the 50-week moving average and there's high volume and it does not recover or get back above like it did last spring, it marks the end of the market cycle. And if you look at the chart, we are heavily above the 50-week moving average, even though we are crossing over in the bull market support band. So anything on my chart inside this box is what you need to pay. Well, anything inside this box between the 50-week and the bull market support band, of course, as price goes up in this last leg of the bull, those metrics change and will increase. But paying attention to both the bull market support band and the 50-week moving average is of utmost importance. And remember, the halving happened in April of 2024. every previous cycle. The top came approximately 18 months later, 12 to 18 months later. So statistically speaking, the blow-off top could still be ahead, likely in Q4 of 2025 or maybe quarter one of 2026. Of course, we cannot predict the future, but this is how I'm playing in the markets. Next, I'd like to take a look at Bitcoin dominance, which for a while was on a tear, as you can see within this very this chart that is so noisy. But we broke out of this ascending channel and dropped marvelously back this summer in July. We have been on a downtrend since then, bottoming out around 57%. But at the same time, in the near term, it looks like Bitcoin dominance is going to make a recovery. So I do believe this drop off, we will have some sort of altcoin season or blow off top, but not until Bitcoin dominance breaks down more. And right now, I think we may be temporarily risk off for the time being. Next, I wanted to take a look at Total 3. Total 3 market cap reached an all-time high at 1.116. So we really need to get back above that level to have any sort of altcoin season, in my personal opinion. But if we can close on the daily back above, say, right where we are now, 1.7, $1.08 trillion, we might go back into an uptrend, but we could also correct down to $100.3, $1 trillion, which is very much a psychological level. If we break below that, our next round of support is probably sitting around 976 or even as low as $934 billion. But for a while, Total 3 has been looking bullish, and that is why the metrics showing us an altcoin season. So if we take a look right now, just at general market sentiment, you can see that the fear and greed index is sitting at 34. So fear has come back into the market. Altcoins are bleeding. Crypto market cap is sitting right at about $3.8 trillion. Bitcoin dominance at 57.8%. And crypto ETFs have been on a downtrend. In fact, a lot of outflows, $674 million over the last little bit. So the market has gotten more fearful. Shorts are starting to pile in, but that doesn't mean it's time for a bounce yet. So what is more important in the big picture? What's important in the big picture, going back to the Bitcoin chart, is understanding when the bull market is over, because when it actually ends, nobody is going to think it's over. In fact, most people are going to probably be screaming that you are an idiot for selling your bags. So, what signals do we look for? I look for a weekly close below the bull market support band. That's number one. And then number two, I'm going to start looking for a weekly close below the 50-week moving average, right? Now, obviously, the big one is losing the 200-week EMA, but at that point, you're probably already deep in a bear market. So is it going to happen in the next 2 months? Is it going to begin next spring? I don't know, but I can watch these metrics. So look, I've made that mistake before. I ignored these signals in 2021. I was listening to the cryptoverse talk about losing the bull market support band, losing the 50-week moving average, and I thought it'll bounce. And guess what I did? I held too long. We did the same thing last spring with some of our DeFi positions, and we paid the price. That is your crypto tuition, and that taught me more than any win I've ever had in this space. So at this point, I follow structure, I follow sentiment. I'm trying to get the best at my timing, and I'm sharing everything I'm doing right here in real time. So if this helps you, please drop a comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss my next moves. Join our free Telegram group or check us out at dadsdefispace.org. help support the channel by checking out our links, non-KYC exchange, Blowfin, and Weeks. That is what I trade on. And stay tuned. I'm going to be releasing a video on Aster in the near future. And if you want to go ahead and check out my deep dive, it is over on Dad's DeFi Space. We just published it today. So I hope each of you enjoy the rest of your day. And I want to thank you for taking some time out to help support my channel and my mission. Go find us over at Dad's DeFi Space on X at CryptoZone 1013. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay strong out there. Touch some grass. Peace.